Good morning, everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about the narcissist and the word I. Now, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but I've been feeling this kind of in my heart, and I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit today. The the thing with the narcissist that makes them have so many problems and that allows them to become so corrupt and so evil is they can never get off the fact of I. I, or me, right? They're always thinking about me, and you need to serve me, or I am this, or I am that, or I did this, or I did that. Okay, and you'll see so many things, and in life even today, it's like the iPhone. It's my iPhone, and it kind of makes you think of the eye as well, on the back of the $1 bill. But not to get too encroated in mystery, to keep this simple, how we get unshackled from the matrix and from this world system is when we stop thinking about us and start thinking about what the Spirit of God is doing, and how the Spirit of God can use us. And I think what the problem is when it comes to, now I'm going to go over some narcissism here, so stick with me, is good. Because you can hear so much stuff on a daily basis, the 10 signs of this and the 10 signs of that, and that's fine, but it's also nice to hear some legit other stuff about narcissism that's kind of interesting and cool and kind of gets to the root of some issues, because this is really where you get your answers from. And the problem with the narcissists is they, God has given us a lot of grace, and you should know it in your own life. You've done so many bad things yourself, not near as horrible as the narcissist, God knows. And God's given you grace, you're like, man, I could have really gotten in trouble there, or injured there, or hurt there, or, maybe I shouldn't have got, you're thankful for the things that you have, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's like, we like to walk in humility, most empaths. So we kind of tend to look at things from a humility standpoint. And so that's one of the gifts that we do have, although we can be pompous just as everybody else can in our times of pridefulness. But I guess what I'm saying is the narcissist has gone down this evil road, and it started out in fear, and fear led to pride, and pride was to overcompensate for all the fears that they were dealing with, maybe from this trauma that they had, or maybe from being a golden child, and because they were pampered so much and they never were able to learn things for themselves because they never thought for themselves. So in that in itself caused fear, just like the trauma did. And because of that, now to overcompensate for the fear of not knowing anything, and now they feel too old to ask questions about stupid things. So now they walk in a spirit of pride. Maybe they did have, or have a heart to want to change for a time, and maybe the pride just swallowed it up, and it started with fear. And I think that's why God says in the Bible, fear not, fear not, for I am with you. My rod and my staff will comfort you. Meaning, you don't have to worry about stuff. And a lot of times when we worry about stuff, it's unneeded, it's unnecessary. And what the narcissist did was they took small situations, to where they could have figured this all out on a righteous way, They could have figured all of this out and gotten through this fear, and there's a lot of people that would have helped them, in their life, if they would have just asked for help. But, instead they stood inside and got compartmentalized. And if you look at things in the world today, everybody is getting compartmentalized. in their job, just like COVID, they have you, working from home now, you're all by yourself. They have you ordering food now, you're all by yourself. They have everybody single out there, they're all by themselves. And I'm not saying that I want to build a codependence in you. I mean, but we're meant to be independent, but be amongst people, and people are meant to be better than they are today. I know we're living in last days for sure, y'all. But my point is when you need to get the Spirit of God to help you, then you have to put I down. Me. You got to put me down. Down, like not down, but you need to set it on the table, and you need to look to the Lord and the Spirit of God, because that's your power. The only power in this world is through the Word and through Christ, man. I mean, that's why this is all happening. We all get the choice to make, for the chance to have choices. And through those choices is where we get responses. And the narcissist can't get off themselves. And if they do look to somebody, they have gotten well past grace, is my point. And because they've gotten so far past grace, God's kind of let go of them to some degree. And so now what they have to do is find somebody close to God or closer to God than they are. And, what they do, what the enemy does. So when you get to that level, the enemy is you're linked up to the enemy now. You're attached. You're part of his body. And that's why they have no self, because they're linked up and attached to the body of the enemy. Just like Christ has a body. The enemy is the flip side of Christ. I don't know if y'all realize that. The left is evil because maybe he fell from the left of God. It doesn't even speak of the left in the Bible. But we know Christ is the anatomical right. And that's why you'll find everything on the anatomical right is blessed and everything on the anatomical left is cursed. And that's why you'll find that the parts of the mind and the brain that are shut down in the narcissist are on the right side, the anatomical right. That would be creativity. That would be common sense. And that would be love sectors. Okay? But what's on the left is logic. But that's what artificial intelligence is. That's like the enemy. They can have logic, but without common sense, it doesn't work all that well sometimes. My point is you can only have one of two kingdoms. You can ever have chaos or peace. The narcissist picked chaos, and what will you pick? But my point is I'm thinking peace, but my point to all this is to get over situations, because I've been dwelling on this lately. We all have things that we're trying to grow through and to get better in our life and to be a more of a potent character of God. And to do that, I've realized that you have to quit looking at your in idiosyncrasies and your downfalls, or you need to look to the Spirit of God, and God is the power that leads us to anything righteous. And if you have desires in your heart, meaning to grow, right, but you're having a tough time doing that, well, then you have to quit focusing on what you can't do and what God can. And live moment to moment. That's why he says day by day, because the enemy can't get you if you live day by day, moment to moment. You could always do the next moment. And that's why you have to be legit in reality all the time. That's why he talks about being sober and vigilant, because sober and vigilant is to not get sidetracked. So many people are sidetracked into the zombie land. They're here, they're walking around and stuff, but a lot of times they're going through the motions. And a lot of people can learn, but they're not wise. You can move about this earth faster than ever, but we're going nowhere. We're smarter, we think. Maybe we are. Maybe we're smarter, but a lot of people say, that live in this reality of the history that they've given us, that we're smarter than ever. Yeah, well, we're not wiser. Okay? They say we're most genetically savvy. Well, we're breaking down earlier and earlier and younger. So I don't know if I believe that. But, a lot of times, for instance, you want to lose weight, but the first thing you say is, I'm lazy, or I'm fat, or, oh, I don't like the way I look. I don't, I. Well, how about this? How about, how about putting God first and being like, you know, praying about it and doing what you can right now? And then the problem with that is when you start doing something and looking good, after you have gotten over that hill, then what do? Then you start thinking about how you did it. And see, you got to know, if you read the Bible, or you know anything about the Word, you got to know that the Word and the Lord, He wants the glory through you. Because when He gets the glory through you, that empowers you. And then He also puts more stock in you to do greater things. So even though you think that, oh, God has to get all of the glory. Well, yeah, because He did everything. He even created you. But not only that, when you allow Him to live through you in that manner, and I'm speaking to myself first, y'all, so I'm not preaching to y'all without preaching to myself first, but I want to empower y'all. So if I'm ever upset, it's because I love y'all, and it's to empower you, to build on whatever you're at, wherever you're at, And you can't be interested or concerned on what man thinks, or, because if you're concerned about that, then you're also going to be concerned. If you need their praise and you need their comments and you need them lifting you up, then you are also going to have to live by their criticism. And if that ain't codependence, I don't know what is. And that's what a lot of people do in this system that we live in this world we live in. That's why they end up becoming in this, what they call the matrix or whatever. It's because they forget about God and they start thinking that they have done it themselves. And that's what the narcissist does to you. They latch up to you, attach to you, because you're the closest thing they can get to somebody attached to God. Okay? And then when they draw their fuel off of you, all that fuel off of you, and use it for themselves, and they actually elevate to some degree, at least in their narcissism and their manipulations, then they walk away and leave you. Why? Because they think they did it. And we do the same thing with God, y'all. As soon as we think we're elevating, doing something, and we get empowered because God has blessed us because we allowed Him to, then we start saying that we did it. And we didn't do nothing, y'all. And that's why we need to stay sober. We need to stay vigilant. If you want to have an athletic body, then work towards it and look to the Lord, because you ain't never going to do it yourself. It's only going to be through God giving you the desires of your heart. But you got to continue to look to God, because He's your power and He's your strength and your might. You're not going to get it through yourself, and you're not going to get it through man, and you're not going to get it from anybody. And if you want to get over the narcissist, quit thinking about the past, man. Think about your glorious future, because the past is dead, y'all. And that's why God loved David so much, because after David did some really horrible things, but when David repented, he kept it moving. He knew there was nothing he could do except right now. And that's what he did, y'all. And that's why he was a man after God's own heart. Anyway, I love y'all. Until next time, soldier up. Peace be out.